So good morning or good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Talent Finders would like to welcome speaker, coach, thought leader, sportsman, and author Cornell Thomas. So welcome, Cornell.
Thank you for having me.
So Cornell, I'd like to congratulate you on all you're achieving. I wanted to start off by asking you to give us some background on how your journey started.
Okay, well, first, thank you. Secondly, it started for me when I was about 4 years old. My father passed away from cancer. He was a police officer in the city of Passaic, New Jersey. But when he passed away, my mom was left with the task of raising 5 kids on her own with very little money. So I think everything that I am right now is a direct correlation to that moment, because I saw my mom struggle at a very early age, but I also saw my mom, not quit, fight through things, figure out solutions, not focus on the problems. And I literally tell her this almost every day. I said, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be who I am. So I think that's what started my journey at a very young age in terms of mindset and just thinking a little bit differently than people that were around me. And then when I was about, 16 years old, that's the first time I discovered the game of basketball. I didn't really play a lot of sports growing up. I started playing basketball because my cousin Carlos Taylor, who was this all-star basketball player in Virginia, we used to go to my mom's house, old house in Virginia, every year for a week, and there was nothing to do. So one day I was sitting on Carlos's bed and saw all these newspaper articles about him. So I said to myself, okay, I'm gonna be a basketball player. I had no idea how hard it was. I just thought that, this is what I want to do. I want to be famous. I want to be a basketball player, blah, blah, blah. And so when I got home, I picked up a basketball I found in my basement, walked to the nearest court, and then miserably failed at trying to put the ball into the hoop. And I did that for like a couple hours, and a guy by the name of Ray came up to me and asked me if I wouldn't mind him showing me how to shoot a basketball. So he put in my mind that if I work at this, I could get better. And that's what kind of changed the trajectory of my life at that time. I just realized I want to be a basketball player.
Amazing.
Yeah. And the funny thing is that I tell people all the time, people are like, oh man, you got, all these accolades as a basketball player, and, you got contract play, professional basketball, all this. And I tell them, I was like, it took me 5 years to get better at basketball. It wasn't an overnight thing.
No.
And
it never is. I mean, that's why I think the problem is people see the glamorized side of something, but they don't see the hours and the years and the dedication that it takes to get to that point.
Yeah. And they only see where you land, right? They 100%. Only see where you land. They don't see the process. They don't see the hours that you put in.
The blood, the sweat, the tears.
For sure.
Yeah.
So I ended up, getting cut. Like, I didn't make my varsity team for my high school. I ended up playing like junior varsity, which is the lower level here in the States. And then my senior year, I barely played. And for the first time since I can ever remember, I heard my mom say the word can't. She said, I can't afford to send you to college. So I came up with this plan that I was going to work 2 jobs, go to a 2-year college, because it was cheaper, pay for that, get a scholarship to play at a 4-year school, and then play professional basketball.
Wow.
So I told my mom the plan. My mom said, that sounds great. I started working 2 jobs. I went to a junior college, a 2-year school. My first year, I was still not that great. My second year, everything happened. I was first team all conference, all these, accolades for basketball. Wow. I got a contract to play. I got a scholarship to play in North Dakota, which was, where I met my wife, who played basketball on the other team, on the girls' team. And I got back home and I started working out with NBA guys that play professionally in Europe. And about 7-8 months while I was home, I got a contract. I received an offer to play in Lisbon, Portugal, at their top division.
Wow.
So which was great. And a week before I was supposed to leave, I ruptured my Achilles tendon. Wow. So I tell people all the time, just imagine because I used to work out, Karen, like 7-8 hours a day.
Wow.
So I was like, imagine putting over 10,000 hours into something just for it to be taken in a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. So I was playing, 3-on-3 basketball. Some of my friends, just, not even a serious game, went to the basket, heard a pop, went to the hospital. The doctor said they'd have to, they're going to grab the back of my calf. I felt excruciating pain. They'd have to do surgery. He grabbed the back of my calf. I felt the excruciating pain. That Thursday morning, they wheeled me into surgery. Thursday afternoon, they wheeled me out. I had a hard cast from the middle of my thigh to the end of my foot. And then by Thursday night, my contract was voided. So all those things happened in one day. And then the next day, I had to watch my mom, kiss me on my forehead and then just watch her walk to one of the 3 jobs I told her she'd never have to work again because I was going to play professional basketball.
Wow.
So that was the hardest day of my life. And when people ask me, well, how long did it take you to get over it? I always tell them it took me 48 hours because it took me that Friday morning. I called my best friend, one of my best friends at the time, my buddy Kevin. I said, I need you to pick me up at the gym. And he sounded like I died. He's like, well, why are we going to go to the gym? I said, just pick me up. So that Monday, he took me to the gym and I shot from a chair for the next 6 months. And then I shot from a crutch. And then when I was able to get my legs back, I kept, working on it. But I always say that, whatever your belief system, and I believe in God, that things happen for a reason. And I got offered to coach this job, to coach basketball at the same college, 2-year college that I went to. And I was so against it. I was like, I'm not coaching. I'm only 25 years old. Screw that. I'm not coaching basketball. I'm playing basketball. And I ended up taking the interview and then coaching and then opening up a training business to train kids. And then as I started going through my coaching career, I realized that, my reason that I was put on this earth was to help other people. It wasn't to just play basketball. I just didn't know what capacity it was in.
Amazing. So your career started in sport, obviously, which you just mentioned or spoken about specifically in basketball. You've obviously shared with us how it began, but what led you from the world of sports to coaching and becoming an author?
Yeah, it's funny. So I was on Facebook one day, and just like your typical Facebook, pretty much anywhere in the world, it was super negative, like super, super, super negative. And I was just like, man, I said, people wake up, like this is like people's morning coffee. They wake up to this garbage. And a friend of mine bought me a book of positive quotations.
Yeah.
I'll never forget it. And I just, something made me just take a quote out of the book and put it on Facebook. The strangest things happen. People started to actually like it. Even the people that were all about drama all the time, they started to like the quotes. And one day I woke up and I couldn't find the book. So I wrote my own quote. And people still liked it. So I was like, well, screw the book. I'm just going to write my own quotes.
Wow.
So I started writing my own quotes. And after about 4 or 5 months, I started writing blogs. And then I was like, well, I want to write a book. I started writing books. And my first book was called The Power of Positivity, Controlling Where the Ball Bounces. And I decided after that book, I want to travel the world and share my story because I saw the impact that I was having on other people.
Wow, that's amazing. So what would you say some of your biggest lessons and learnings in your career have been?
I would say the first thing is realizing that life isn't a straight line.
Yeah.
And understanding that there are going to be plenty of bumps and obstacles and plenty of times where you're going to have doors shut in your face. But whatever you want, if you want to achieve anything that's great on this planet, it's not going to be easy.
No.
You're going to have to go down the road less traveled. And at the end of that road is going to be, whatever success or greatness is to you. So that's one of the first things. And then everything happens for a reason because I lived it. I got to see exactly from a very early age. I never knew why my father wasn't around until I had kids. Yeah. And when I had kids, I was like, there's no other job that I want than being a father. That's the most important job in my life. And I think I appreciate it even more because I didn't grow up with one. Yeah. So there's that. So I'd say, life's not a straight line. Everything happens for a reason. And I'd say lastly, which just has to do with, work ethic, is you have to be willing to sacrifice what you like in order to get what you love.
100%. So speaking of the subject of leadership, which is a big one, and the lack of leadership, what and why do you think leadership needs to be improved? And what do you think differentiates you as a leader in your area?
Well, I would say that it has to be improved because you see in every aspect of life. You see it in corporations, you see it on sports teams, you see it in in education, that there are a lot of bad leaders out there. And I think the reason there's a lot of bad leaders
and politics.
And everything, right? Like all across the board, there's bad leadership.
Yeah.
And I think the reason is because a lot of these leaders lack empathy.
Yeah.
They don't realize, either they're too far removed or they don't realize that at some point in time, you're dealing with human beings.
Yeah.
Where you're dealing with something as complex as human beings, you can't not have empathy. Like you can't not understand where other people are coming from.
100%.
So when it comes for me in terms of a leadership, I am who I am. Like who you see is who you get. I don't try to act like I have all the answers or try to act like I'm the smartest person in the room all the time. I'm just Cornell, and either you like me or you don't, but I'm not going to waste time convincing you to like me or to be my friend or to follow me or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I'm just always the same person, regardless. And I've been through so much in my life to help my mindset be strong enough to handle leadership.
Yeah.
And have people follow me in terms of, hey, this guy's coming up this mountain. He said it's good. Let's go follow him. So I think those are the biggest things for me. And leadership it's not a title. It's something that you earn. Anybody can say,
and it's something you learn.
Oh, for sure. And you're learning all the time. You're learning every day. And when you stop thinking that you need to learn, you need to stop calling yourself a leader.
Exactly. So some of the biggest challenges women have today is negotiating and closing deals. And there seems to be a real power struggle when women enter negotiations. How do you as a man assist with this through your own experience? And what would you say you have done to help women overcome this?
Well, my own experiences, and I say this a lot when I speak to women's groups, is I'm a black man in America.
Yeah.
So I understand what starting the race 5 miles behind means.
Yeah.
I also understand what oppression is.
Yeah.
So I think there's a commonality there that we all have, which is adversity and, injustice.
Yeah.
One of the things that I say to women a lot is you can't sometimes choose the hand that you get. You can get some really crappy cards, but it really depends on how you play them.
Yeah.
And if you throw them in and quit and say, man, I got these crap cards and life isn't fair and, I don't know what I'm going to do, and you give up, then your reality is going to be your reality.
Of course.
I'm a fighter, so I just have never stopped fighting. I don't believe that any card you give me, I can't win. I can win regardless of the cards you give me. So, we're dealing with a rigged deck, and we just have to make the most of it, make it happen. And when it comes to negotiation, that's understanding your well-being. And it's not just women, there's men too. When I first started speaking, I wouldn't ask people for the price that I know I deserve, because I was like, well, I don't want to put people out, and I don't want to. No, it's just knowing what you're worth.
Yeah.
If you
that's
know
the thing, we undervalue ourselves.
Sure, 100%. But if you know that you know your worth, you shouldn't be afraid to ask for it.
100%. So what would you say has been some of your greatest career highlights?
For my career, I would say one, just publishing one book. I mean, I have 3 and 2 more that are coming out this year, but publishing one book has been a big highlight for me. And I'd say probably the biggest are the amount of people I've been able to impact and be impacted by. I was growing up, we didn't have money to travel. We didn't have money to see the world. This is my 6th or 7th time in England this weekend. I've been to Dubai to speak. I've been, in Canada. I've been all over the States.
Amazing.
And it's all through just, sharing my story. So, and I have.
The power of storytelling is what really sells. And
well, we've been doing it forever, right? There's been storytelling since the beginning of time.
For sure.
It's amazing that my being able to just tell a story has taken me all over the place.
So coming from the world of sport, what do you feel some of the greatest parts of this, and how have you applied it in the world of coaching?
I think one of the biggest lessons from sports is teamwork and
Yes.
being able to collaborate with other people that might not have your same background or ideas.
Yes.
And being able to collaborate with people towards a common goal. And that common goal trumps your individual goal. So if me and you, Karen, are on the same team and our common goal is to win a championship, but my individual goal is scoring 30 points a game. But on our team, I need to score about 15 points a game, not 30 points a game. Then I have to take my common goal and I have to put it off to the side for the betterment of the team. So we had a saying where I coached at Blair Academy. It was cause over self. And that's a big thing in terms of leadership. It's a big thing in terms of coaching. Cause over self. The cause is greater than the individual when it comes to dealing with a team. So I'd say that's one of the biggest takeaways I have from the basketball world.
Amazing. So when did you decide to write your book, and was this a natural transition or organic process for you? And as there are so many books out there, what do you feel is unique about your book?
I want to say that I started writing the book because I started seeing what my words did for people. Like I had no idea before I started writing that a written word can completely change someone's day. Or
so
change.
This is an organic process then for you, rather than...
Oh yeah, this is nothing I didn't sit down and say I'm going to be an author.
Yeah.
It just happened. You know, like it just happened. Like it's just amazing how that happened. So I would say that's happened very much organically. And I forgot, what's the second part of the question, Karen?
Basically, when you decided to write your book, was this a natural transition or organic process? And as there are many books out there, what do you feel is unique and different about your book?
Okay, thank you. None of my books are over 75 pages.
Okay.
None of them.
Yeah. Because
we don't live in a world, for me, that I feel that the subject matter that I talk about, people have time to read a 300-page manifesto.
No.
So all my books
it's hard enough reading 150 pages.
For sure, right? For sure.
Yeah.
So all my books are short and they're very conversational. If you read my books, you'll be like, okay, I feel like I'm talking to a Cornell. So I don't try to blow people away with my vocabulary. I don't try to blow people away with my show people how smart I am all the time. Like, that's just not me. I write how I speak. Yeah. And I think that's what makes it authentic, and that's why I think people, can align to it.
Amazing. So, Cornell, what is your long-term vision as a coach? And this seems to be a very saturated market. How do you feel how do you keep things fresh, and how fast are you able to adapt not only to the space of technology and industry changes, but also to a change in a very fast change-paced industry?
Yeah, it's a great question. Well, I'll tell you this. The one thing that I always keep in mind when it comes to coaching, speaking, whatever, is nobody is me, and I'm nobody else. Yeah. It's very important. I don't compare myself to other people. I really don't give a crap what anybody else is doing in terms of, like, oh, well, they're doing it this way, or I'm doing it that way. I've never had a speaker coach. I've never had any of that stuff, because my voice is my voice, just like your voice is your voice. So the great thing about technology in this day and age for us is that you don't necessarily need to go on a 3-minute news segment to get the word out there. You don't need the typical ways of promoting yourself. If you have content, you can put it out for free every single day, and people can gravitate towards it. So I always look at, like, my things are like Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. Like, those are the 4 social media platforms that I use, that I kind of put all my quotes and my videos and stuff on, and they've been doing great. People have been coming, responding to them, and saying that they love the content. So yeah, just be yourself, and understand social media, because that's just the way it's going.
Amazing. And then the final question is, what would you like your legacy to be, and can you give 3 key pieces of advice to entrepreneurs?
Sure. You have very good questions, by the way, Karen. I'd like to say that.
Thank you.
I would love my legacy. I would love for people to look back and say, this is a human being that helped others, cared about people truly and deeply, and that lived his life in accordance to how he wanted to live it, not by anybody else. My legacy is going to be through my children, and it's going to be through the other people that I impact, because long after I'm gone, they will be here, and their children will be here, and their children will be here.
And also to pay it forward, right?
Well, of course. Well, I mean, that's in everything for me. Everything is, given back. It could be time. It could be whatever it is. So I want to have a legacy that 500, 600, 1,000 years from now, people are like, oh man, that guy Cornell Thomas, he did a lot of great things on the planet, and we can still feel some of it today.
And then 3 key pieces of advice for entrepreneurs.
Yeah, so I would say this. Here are the 3 key pieces of advice. Mindset, mindset, mindset. Like, those are the 3 key pieces for entrepreneurs. You have to understand, my friends, everything in life in general, but especially entrepreneurship, it's mindset.
Yeah.
If you don't have the right mindset, if you're not willing to learn, if you're not willing to work hard, if you're not willing to sacrifice, if you're not willing to get punched in the mouth and get back up, then you're not going to be successful at anything. Be it a business, relationship, whatever it is, you're not going to be successful. So for entrepreneurships, it's having that entrepreneurial mind. You have to realize that there's going to be good and bad. There's going to be times where not having that steady paycheck of someone paying you is going to just be so frustrating and get you down, and you're going to want to go back. You're going to want to go back so bad to that corporate life that you so badly want to run away from. I'm telling you, if you stay the course and work hard and have faith and believe in what you do, it's going to turn around. You just got to get through the mud.
Yeah. And you have to be in it for the long haul, because there's no shortcuts. And like you said, it took you 5 years to get to the level that you wanted to get to.
Yeah.
So people need to understand that it's a year's game, not a month or day's game.
Exactly. That's also the way to put it.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining today, and thank you so much for your insightful knowledge and sharing your story. And hopefully we can have you back again soon.
I would love that. Thank you so much, Karen.
Thank you.